By profession, Brother Robert is an engineer. Okay, that means engineer. Okay, okay. And Sister Rita Bruce, she has an associate degree, and she has written 4 books. Many of you may have had a chance to read her books. What's more important is, before we started, during that few minutes gap, they were talking about a little bit on Swami, right? They have spent 28 years with Swami. 28 years, okay? I mean, they have lots and lots of experience and lots of stories to share. Other than the workshop, they could keep you awake all night, with those leelas of Swami. So that's really wonderful. They generally spend about half a year, about 6 months in India each year. And of course, since they were here since the 2nd of March, we have really enjoyed their company. They are very jovial people with full of love. And if you all want to share something with them, invite them to the ice cream parlor. Okay, okay, with that, please welcome Sister Rita Bruce and Brother Robert Bruce.
Thank you. Well, we got Swami's picture here now, so we can say our pranams. Lord, let it be you. Oh, Bhagavan. We all love you so very much. Please, Lord, allow us to feel your divine presence in one another. Open our hearts so that we can learn to be pure, flute-like instruments like you. Today we are here to learn about marriage and how to make our family life grow in your example and with your human values. Lord, bless us this day. Give us the strength to put what we learn into practice. Amen.
Well, one of 2 things will happen today for all those who are not married. You will run home and say, Mommy, Daddy, I want to get married. I want to start rubbing my egos right away so I can become self-realized. Or you will run home and say, Mommy, Daddy, I'd rather be celibate and all alone the rest of my life so I can be self-realized. So one of the extremes will happen.
And what would you like to do?
I plead the Fifth Amendment.
You know, Swami has taught us a great deal. But even before Swami came into our life, we were about 32 years of age, 31, 32, and we had a crisis in our relationship, which then turned us to Eastern religion, Eastern thought, a lot of inner work, a lot of communication started then. So many times, all of us in our life, we don't take any action until there's a crisis. And Swami, when he instructed us to do the Sai parenting and the Sai marriage workshops, he said, give this to the young adults. I said, the young adults, Swami? He said, yes. He says, you give them both programs, the same program that you give the parents, give to the young adults. So, you see, I think the Lord wants the young adults to be prepared for when they have a relationship and get married and have children. They want them to have a fuller understanding than most of us have. I never took any courses on marriage or on raising children. And it's the 2 most important jobs that we have. It is the longest investment that we make, the most costly investment that we make. And we have absolutely no instructions or teachings on it.
Wait a minute. This is part of your talk.
No, this is my introduction.
No, I'm doing the introduction.
You're going to do the introduction?
Yes, dear. And you forgot one important thing that Swami said.
What?
When the young adults break into groups, the young adults who are not married cannot sit together, the girls and the boys. The girls can sit with men who are married, but not men who are not married. Okay? And the boys cannot sit with girls who are not married. Swami was very strong when he told us this. So, since I don't know and she don't know who isn't married, if you happen to see a guy and a girl who aren't married sitting at the same table together, kick one of them out. Gently and sweetly. If you can't oblige, you can speak obligingly, right? Now, when you break into groups, for those that weren't here before, and sit at the tables, there's a group memory keeper who takes notes from the group what you're doing. That does not mean the person is in charge. Okay? It doesn't mean it's a girl because it's a secretary writing notes, guys. We don't want any of that male chauvinism thing out there. We all share because we're equal. You know, the amazing thing is, you know, seeing is electromagnetic energy, right? For any doctors that are here. Well, what happens if that energy shifts and it's X-rays? You look at her and she looks at you. There's no difference. You don't see the hair or lack of it. You know, you don't see dark hair, light hair. No, you know, you're identical. Isn't that amazing? If we just shifted our vision energy to X-ray, we'd all be alike. And Swami says, why don't we look at each other that way? Because we're all part of that same circuit. You know, he said, you know, it's just when you plug into the circuit, it's at 110 volts. Some light bulbs don't light up as strong as others. Some are 60 watt, 100 watt, 12 watt, you know. It's just lack of ignorance. That's what he says. That's all it is. Because we're all divine. So, you know, help us with the boy-girl thing. Let's see. As Brother Reddy said, we want to, you know, keep on schedule. This is your workshop. We're this here kind of guiding things and doing what Swami told us to do. That's all we're doing. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, it's like a study circle. There's no right, there's no wrong. You know, and it's a collective thing. And when you break to choose your issue you want to work on, you know, this is the dynamics. It teaches us sacrifice. It teaches us sharing. It teaches suppressing our ego. You can only work on one question today. Okay? And therefore, and you're going to make a presentation. You're going to solve your question. And we're going to have lots of fun. And I know from the young adults are so energetic. When we've done just young adult workshops, where there might be 80, 90 young adults, the energy level just blows the place off. So, you know, there's plenty of young adults here. So all us gray-haired guys, get ready for some energy, okay? You're going to feel it. You're going to feel their energy, okay? And that's what it's supposed to be, right? We're supposed to slow down as we get a little older, except for Swami. He says, you're not retired, you're retired. You know, like you do an automobile tire. That's why you see these guys walking around this at Buddha party working 14 hours a day. Mr. Narasimhan, here he is, he can't even see, and he's the editor of the Sanatana. You know, like this. He's so funny.
Let me add a few things. When you do your group sessions, we want men and women.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
In each group session. And for this reason, it gives male energy and female energy. We think differently. And so it's really important that we interact with each other. Also, it's a round circle. There's no head. There's no one that's in charge. There's no leadership. But there is a group memory keeper. And whoever becomes a group memory keeper volunteers to take down some of the notes of what needs to be brought up here and spoken. So basically, it's like Barbara said, like a study circle, and you all are going to be doing most of the work today. What we like to start with...
I got to explain one thing I didn't.
Okay.
Okay. In a normal workshop where we got a little more time, you create, like you did in the parenting one, your key issues and concerns. Because 90% of the ones that have been done in marriage is posted around the room. Now, for instance, if family or outside influence, if there's one not listed on that chart or flip chart, what they call them. No, I'm just saying it so there's no confusion. You can add one. I mean, this doesn't mean you can only work on what's on there. I mean, there's plenty of things in communication. We're not trying to force you into anything. But since these are 90% of what people have done in the last 10 or 12 years, most of them are there. And we did that to save an hour. That's why. Because it takes an hour to go through your key issues and concerns and write them and post them and everything. So if you stand under outside influence and you want to add one that's not on here in your group, just do it. Okay, we're not trying to force you to only use what's there.
So the very first thing that I want you all to do, can you all see this quote for Swami here? Is my head in the way? Huh? Let's all read it together as loud as we can so Swami can hear. First, you must understand each other. After that, adjustment will be easy. First, understand. Second, adjustment. 90% of people try adjustment first. This is the wrong way around. First, understand. Understand, then adjustment. Communication, transformation. Saying the same thing. So, the very first thing we're going to do is an exercise. And the exercise is going to be on what are some expectations that we have in marriage. Now, it doesn't need to be your own personal expectation or what your own personal expectation, but we're going to have a blurt session. And blurt means anybody can call out. And we're going to have two girls on each side, and they're going to be writing them down. And I went practical things. What are expectations that we see in the commercials and on TV and every place else? I got to tell you the funniest one I ever heard. The funniest one I ever heard was when we were doing a session in Puttaparthi, and it was with a Japanese group, a young adults. This young adult stood up and said, "I want a wife that never complains." I said, you're in trouble already. Can you imagine what happened after he got married with that expectation? It's wonderful. We have all these expectations. So, anyway, give us some of your expectations.
Wait a minute. Now, if the guy was deaf and he couldn't hear the complaints, and she was blind and couldn't see what he did wrong, it wouldn't be any problem, would it?
No, but that's not the case.
Oh, you mean you're talking about that we have love and in marriage is an eye-opener? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. So, anyway, what are some of your expectations? What are expectations that we have in general? Boy, I didn't realize this was such a tough question.
Now, all you guys look straight ahead. You can't see who's saying what. And all you girls look straight ahead, so you can't see who's saying what.
Financially stable. That's a big one. That's a big one. Absolutely. Non-smoker?
Smoker?
What else? Huh? Not drinker? Non-drinker?
Honesty.
Someone who's honest? Yes.
Cleanliness.
Huh? Non-womanizing? Listen, that's important.
Cleanliness.
What?
Cleanliness.
Cleanliness, important. Very good.
A guy who doesn't
putting the wife before the rest of the parents, right? Huh?
Wife first.
Wife first. Yeah, that's important. Absolutely. What else? Mutual, do we have understanding? Huh? Mutual understanding. What about children? Huh? Either you want them or you don't. Is that important? And if you have them, what? You have no expectations with your spouse, with your children? 50-50 responsibility with children or family. Children, yeah. Do you want a spouse that lives separate from you and has their own activity and is gone all the time? Quality time to the family. Boy, that's a big one today, huh? Healthy, yeah.
What about balancing our family activities? That, and I know many of you, even though you won't say it, there's a lot of pressure on Sai activities versus family activities. And this is a concern with many newly wedded people. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. Oh. When the young adults who come who have been married just a year or so, they have a lot of pressure from their family with Sai activities. And I think we have to be aware, as the older people, that when our children do get married, they need to do all these things you talked about, learn how to communicate, learn how to share, and many of these things. And don't put pressure on them too much. Oh, you got to go to this Save a Project, you got to go here, you got to go there. Balancing activities is a big concern with young adults.
Especially many of them, the young adults go from 18 to 35 in a lot of the countries. So the young adults have 2, 3 little children in their household. So you know what it's like when you have little children running around. So everything has to be in moderation and balance for us. And we seem to many times do things to the extreme. And it's our human nature that does this. And it puts a lot of stress on us. And stress is one of the number one things that's creating problems in all of our lives, everywhere in the world. So let's put these up. And you want to tell them about the issues, what they're going to do? They're going to... Oh, you didn't bring your glasses.
I can see.
You can see?
Of course, darling.
Oh, good. Just as long as you can see me.
Here, let me have this one so I can read them all at one time. Okay, we've got posted around the room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and what you're going to do, you're going to spend a few minutes walking around, looking at them all. Okay, there's communication, balance activities, personality, family, and outside influence. Yeah.
The only other thing we'd like to suggest, and that is if you are married, it's better if you can separate and join another group. Not because, if you want to be with your spouse, that's great. But it was only for the purpose of if you go to 2 different groups, let's say one's in outside influence and another one's in family, then when you come home at night, you have an opportunity to share a lot fuller because you're getting the benefit from both groups. So as Robert said, walk around, look at the different things. You're only going to be able to work on one of these categories today. And so the most important thing for you to do is to go inside, ask Swami, what is the most important thing for me to work on today? And so you do that now, and then we will come around and count out the numbers and send you back to the tables for a group session, and we will give you further instruction then.
course of dating, basically, we were not prepared for this, so it was kind of like impromptu. So I would encourage if you like dating, please support me. Okay. Dating, quite interesting, exciting as well. One of the main things that I would say dating is getting to know the other person. Do you agree? Talking. Sorry, can't hear you. What was that? Your date is not here. What? Oh, all right. All right. So, okay. The first thing is that you like someone, attraction is there. All right. That doesn't mean love at first sight because attraction happens first. Then you like to get to know the person. You go out. You do whatever crazy things you have to do to get a date with that person if you really, really like her. And you go out. And you're very nervous basically when you go for the first date because you want to have a very good impression normally. All right. Okay. That actually backfires if you're not yourself. So first thing is to get to know the person. You might like her, but is she the right person? That's the first thing you need to do. Another thing is that the chemistry. Because the person, if you're dating for the sake of just having fun, that's a different dating. But if you're dating because you want to get a good life partner, that's totally, totally different. Right? It's very silent. Are you paying attention? Oh. Okay. All right. Okay. So second thing is like getting to know the person, who she is or who he is, if you're a lady, and just being comfortable with each other. And the pros is you have opportunity to get to know her earlier before marriage because you have your sets of values. You are brought up in a way when you grow up. You had different sets of values from your parents. You inherit those things. And you have certain expectations, like all those expectations we spoke about just now. So this actually gives you an eye-opener for her. It's like, are you compatible? You can know about it. Able to share your visions when you're dating, maybe not in the first date, maybe in the third date. If it happens, if you're lucky, you go beyond first. You will be able to share. You'll be able to share your visions if you get married, if you're going to have problems, if you're Indian, it's going to be difficult. So if everything is fine. If your parents disagrees, then what a major master plan. You got to convince the parents to get married, kind of thing. So have your visions because you're going to live. How many kids you want to have, what kind of life you want to have, what kind of things you want to set till the end, kind of thing. So that actually gives you an opportunity when you date. Not on the first date, but when you date. I can't read my own handwriting. Okay, and basically it's that the moment you get to know that, if you really like the chemistry is there, and you find that sometimes you can go out with someone, but you will know deep down inside whether she's meant for you or not. That something tells you, you'll need some tissues now. Something tells you that she's the right person. Okay, so you work things out. But if she's the right person and you want to go all out, dating actually gives you an opportunity because you got to know her. You should show interest in her. If you're a guy, show interest in her. Know what she wants, what her values are, and if you really want her, you know what she wants. So go after her, and you can sweep her from her feet. Right? But it depends how creative you are as well. Okay? And if it's really love, it could withstand anything. And this actually gives you opportunity. Instead of not knowing who you're going to get married, might be everything good, but after marriage, you wouldn't know what will happen. But it gives you sort of like, dating is like knowing people. It's basically getting to know someone. It's not like you date someone, you must get married to the person you're dating. That's the impression. Indians, if you go out first date, that's it. You're sealed. You're supposed to get married to them. No such thing. Dating is like, invested. We date because it's socializing, getting to know someone. Whether, don't look at me like that.
Okay. Time out. Next. Now don't leave. No, I'm just teasing. Don't leave. The way he was moving out, I thought he was going to keep right on going. Okay.
Sairam, everybody. Good afternoon. Now, I've been given the task of talking about the cons of dating. I realize at this point in time that I'm probably a major minority because I think there are many of us here who date, who think dating is good. Now, the first thing I want to say about dating is, if at all you want to date, you have to have the right mindset. And the very sad thing about today is dating today is not as it was 30, 40 years ago. In those days, when you talk about dating, you actually date, okay? And the Oxford Dictionary defines dating. Now, the Oxford Dictionary defines dating as two people of the opposite sex getting to know each other, spending time with each other for the sole purpose of understanding each other better. That is the definition of dating. But today, if we look at the way dating starts, it starts in secondary school itself. Okay? Now, seriously, is dating in secondary school with the purpose of getting to know somebody with the probable thought of marriage? No. Dating today is not about that. Now, if you enter dating with the right mindset, it's a good thing. It will lead to marriage, probably. But nowadays, that's not what happens. What happens these days is two people go out. They go out, the whole community knows they are going out. Everybody expects marriage to take place. But then suddenly, 3 years down the road, they realize, no, I don't like the way he uses the toothpick after he has eaten, the way he digs his teeth. 3 years down the road, you would have spent so much time with each other, but suddenly 3 years down the road, you find this little flaw in him. And you end the relationship. And let me tell you one thing, when a relationship ends, the girl always gets the bad name, not the guy. For the guy, it's always, one girl down, so many more to go. And another thing I realized about dating, I was talking to one of the brothers during tea break just now, and he happened to mention that the first thing that comes with dating is the loss of freedom. Now, when I heard him say that, I felt very, very sad for him. I felt very sad because if you are dating and if that person really understands you, now this one is not just for the guys, it's for the girls as well, okay? Sometimes we also, when we start dating, we think that's it, have to close the eyes when the guys walk in. No, it shouldn't be like that. If you are dating, that means you understand you're perhaps going to end up with this person, but you already have the thought that I'm looking into this with the intention of marriage. You're not doing it out of peer pressure. In secondary schools, that's what happened. In colleges, that's what's happening. My best friend has a boyfriend. I better have one too. It's like a competition thing. You want to be with the in crowd. You want to go for movies. You want to hold the guy's hand. You want to go for movies. You want to put your arms around the girl. You want to show the other people when you walk into the theater, hey, I've got somebody with me. You loser, you sitting down alone. That is what is happening with dating these days. Okay? So the way I look at it, if you want to talk about dating, then understand first, what is dating all about? If your notion of dating is that you are getting to know somebody with the thought, perhaps this could be my life partner, I'm looking at him or I'm looking at her with that in mind, you're on your way. But if you are looking for dating for the sole purpose of perhaps physical intimacy, because that comes with the territory, okay? You date a girl for 7 years, don't tell me you never kissed her, okay? Don't tell me that you've never kissed her, okay? It comes with the territory. By the way, my father is sitting here, okay? So if I'm saying this, okay? So my dear brothers and sisters, as far as I look at it, unless you have the right mindset about dating, dating is definitely something not good. Thank you.
Oh, good.
Most of the debate.
Yeah. Let me just say one thing. We had a debate once with some young adults, and I want to say a couple things that the girl brought up. Is that you go to university. What is the purpose of going to university? It's to get an education. It's not to do what she said. Okay, it's not to go party. It's not to be seen with someone. All these things that she brought up. And then she says, so therefore, you're spending time and energy and money to get an education. So why do you want to be distracted by dumb boys? You know, that's what she said. Okay, in dating. Then she says, now you graduated and you go to work. Do you date? She says, no. Your first year is the biggest impression on your employer. So you should concentrate on your job and be focused on it. I thought those were some really, really good ideas that the person came up with. And I got to tell you this, what one of the guys said. Guy said, what? Girl's just like a bus. You know, another one's coming by. You just wait on the stop, you know, for the next one to come by. And the girl says, yeah, but little buddy, the bus stop you're at is an express stop, and it don't stop there all the time. So, you know, you guys do have some fun with this and the humor, but it also had some good, strong messages.